What is up, good people? Welcome back to the stream. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. I'm going to continue today working on some cyberpunk inspired stuff, as I have been doing for the last couple of weeks. And right now I'm working on this very chilled out background sound. Take a listen. What I want this to be is just a really like somewhere in the background type of texture to fill out this nice Eastern sounding patch that I'm working on. If you're new to the channel, what I do is make Ableton Live templates and I release them via Patreon and elsewhere, as well as releasing the tracks themselves as Creative Commons music. So I make music for your videos and games, and also tracks for Ableton producers or anyone who wants to pick up on their Ableton chops. I've been doing this since 2019, and yeah, thanks for all the new subscribes, and thanks for all the attention I'm getting, just in general for putting this time in. It's really cool to see a community of regular people showing up, and yeah, it really makes my day. So that's that. What I'm going to do now is give this sound I just mentioned an auto pan, so it kind of gives it a bit of stereo movement. While I work, you're welcome to drop a chat, comment in the chat. I enjoy chatting to people while I work, and you'll see it show up on the screen there. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know your Ableton journey. Say hi. Cool. So there you go. I've got the phase knob over here. Let's just screw around with that a bit, see what it does. This gives you a little bit of round the head type of a feeling. You can hear it. Just take this up a bit so you can hear it properly. Okay, so it's giving it a little bit of stereo feel, which I like. And the rate, I think I'll just bring the rate down a little bit, just so that it fits in nicely with this this feeling. Now I've got a filter on this, so it should actually also come and go, giving it a bit of motion. Okay, let's hear that out. Now we can halve the volume. And it just gives it a layer of texture just somewhere in the background there that distinguishes this from, well, it gives it the cyberpunk feel, so to speak. A little bit of distortion like that, a glitchy sound. That's a good vibe for this type of music. Just a little texture there. But I'm not going to introduce it immediately. I think I'll just bring it in halfway through the track. So you might hear that I've currently got a few pads, a few different sounds at play here. Let me just route that to the master instead of to the pre-master instead of to the master. I have all these channels are going to the pre-master, which is where I reference them before sending them to the master. That just gives me a nice idea of the actual signal heading to the master instead. It's quite common actually to have a pre-master channel. This over here looks like bass electric guitar, and I know I'm not going to use that, so let's do a little bit of cleanup. I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's gone. Kit 1, 2, and 3 are really actually not kits, they're just sample banks. So I get to drag and drop samples in and out of these three. Now this is that very hectic drum kit that I used last time. I don't think I'm going to be using that in this track. This is very much an atmospheric ambient track, so we don't need to go all balls to the wall about it. There's loads of other texture channels and glitchy things I can do with that, but let's just focus on one thing at a time. This second one over here, melody track, I'm going to delete. I was just experimenting with different oriental sounding plucked instruments, and I think I found the one I like, so let's leave that there. And then finally I want to just get a sampler. So let's use this channel over here so I can replace the dry session kit that I currently used for a previous project, and just stick this gong in there, this crash. Actually better than a sampler is a drum kit, but let's see if we can mangle this gong up a little bit and create some fun stuff with it. Cool. So I've got it in mind that I'm going to be using this for a gong, so I'm just going to call it gong, even though it's probably going to sound like something else by the time we're done with it. Alright, let's hear it out. Gong coming up. Okay, that's way too much compression, we don't need that all. I'll leave the reverb in there for now though. cool. So this is about the palette. The palette for this tune, the selection of instruments to use is Oriental based instruments. Let's also create a... And if we change this to simpler, will it give us those 3 modes? I like these modes that you can use. No, that's because it's multi-sample. Shouldn't be a multi-sample though, I just dropped in 1 sample. Let's check it out. Why is it giving me? Why is it throwing shade in my face? Why is it throwing shade? Why are you throwing shade in my face? I think I'm in the wrong octave. I'm way up here. Whoa, it's around my head, man. Okay, so it's right here in the C in the middle. It really does go around and around the head. There, that's more like the sound I'm going for. Pretty gentle. Cool, let's use that. No time to debate the pros and cons of a million different sounds. But I do want to just, while we're here, just kind of create a bit of samplage, a sample love over here. Let's take this view down to small. Where do we see that? Small. I don't need the whole thing, thank you. Cool, let's get that there, and we'll change the root key to B so that we can see what we're doing. A, take to B. Okay, so there's an overlap there. That's not ideal. I'm gonna have to take this back up to medium, see what I'm doing. There we go. Kaboom. Alright. Alright, now the second sample needs to start at another place. Here. There we go, cool. So I'm messing around with different sounds that are orientally inspired, or should I say Eastern music. Oh, this is very interesting. Not sure where I got this sample, but it looks like it's part of a proper sample pack, because its title is Gong 010T1612, which is very professional labeling of your files. I can appreciate that. These aren't really gongs, these sound like gunshots. That's nice, but also nice. And 2 more, same. And that's a hardish one. So let's go with that hardish one. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, and now we bring those 2 in. Just let's give them a moment where they both ring out for eternity. And next is just change the length to 4. I'm probably not going to be ringing this thing any quicker than 4 bars apart. So now I've got the gong sound. Let's duplicate a scene and create a 3rd scene. Oh yes, so this kit 1 I also added was a sub kick. I'm just going to label it while I've got it in my mind. It's a sub kick and it's very sparse. It's just 1 per beat, 1 per bar actually. So that just keeps the kind of pulse of the music going. Now for this 3rd scene, maybe what we could do is lose the melody. So I'm just going to duplicate this without the melody and bring in another element like a pad. So opening scene, this. It's like preamble. There's no actual melody. It's just kind of noodling around on the Eastern instrument, and then we drop into the melody section when we're ready. And then this 3rd scene that I'm talking about. Here we go. There comes this layer of texture and also the layer of the gong that I just created. Let's just play that again. 3, 4. I like that very much. One thing I'm going to do also is I'm going to add I'm going to add the not save as, show sends. There we go. I'll add a nice amount of reverb and delay to this gong, or just delay actually. 2, 3, 4. What have I done? I've done a bad thing. Oh, there we go. It was just I disabled the pre-master for some reason. Okay, I'm changing my mind about this gong. Yeah, there you go, cool. Okay, now how about we bring in another pad sound here? Not sure that's appropriate. When I get stuck for ideas, I listen to the reference track. In this case, the reference track is Cyberpunk 2077 reference, this game soundtrack at least. I'm currently listening to it. You can't hear it, otherwise I get flagged for copyright on YouTube. So this is where I'm getting my inspiration for this album. Okay, and what I'm hearing here is a there's a string section, definitely a high sounding violin string section. I'm not sure if that's appropriate. Just I played the violin, well, I do play the violin, but just not enough, man. I'd love to play it more. Let's just hear it again. I'm gonna move these two sweeps over here for now. There's a 16th note happening. I'm going to try and emulate that. Okay, that's a pad. That's sort of like more of a down rave signal. Yeah, that's what it's called, rave signal. I'm going to save this preset. Another thing I'm doing while I make these tunes, while I make this pack, is creating a library of cyberpunk inspired sounds. So let's rename this one. It is a pad, but it is down sweep rave. I know what that means. That means it's going to be actually not a down sweep, but a pitch, down pitch rave. That's going to give me a good idea. Stick that in the Cyberpunk album and a collection of presets at least. And I can release these things too as Ableton Live templates. Means that they're actually all default Ableton Live presets. We're not using external third-party plugins here. We're just using the default stuff, so that anyone with a copy of Live 11 can just open them up and play them. All right, guys, onwards and forwards. Let's do it. I'm going to change out this pad. I don't want it to be down pitch rave. I want it to be something else. And where I'm going to start actually is in my very collection of cyberpunk themed stuff. Remember, what we're trying to create here is a 16th note. That's the goal. Got to stay focused on that goal. Got no love coming from this one. Why not? Probably because that is off. Cool, I did that before. I just must not do it again, so I'm going to rename this one, override it. Cool. So welcome to the stream. This is where I just kind of like talk and work and talk and think and talk to people, and at the same time it's quite a rush actually. So we add an auto pan to this, and that should give us a nice 16th note flutter. Let's change it to 1/16th, actually a 32nd, I think. That's it, that's what we're going for. And then we're in the key of E flat minor, so I'm going to go here. Okay, and then let's write out that note itself, which is going to be down here, and then we'll fine tune it. Here we go. That's it. Now I can hear it. That's a bit too much. And actually I prefer the triangle. Let's map that and just let's get a little bit of love on it. Oh no, wait. I mapped two of them to 51. Don't want that. It's starting to sound like a helicopter, huh? We could probably do better with re-triggering this. It's going to duplicate this scene just to try and hide the seam in the MIDI clip. Okay, here we go. Bring it back a little bit. There we go. Cool. All right. If you're new to the channel, drop a message. I enjoy chatting to people while I work. Where did I put it? There it is. bit disorienting because it slightly goes out of time actually. That's quite nice. Now let's create an automation layer on this clip. I'm going to get out of the way again. Next step is, like I mentioned, create an automation layer. What does that mean? That means that I am going to find the phase of this clip and then insert a nice descending sawtooth waveform automation layer. And this might not be clear unless you're wearing headphones, but it's distinguishing the phase slowly over time. It's giving it a different now at this point, about halfway, we're completely in the sides of the head, completely out of phase. And now what's going to happen is it's going to slowly bring it in. But first I have to max this out. It's very subtle. You can actually see the movement over here in this blue section. Now it's right kind of more in the center. So actually I don't want this waveform. What I want is more of this kind of waveform. Okay, it's just very subtle, but it's a nice little touch. Okay, next up. You can use this as a moment. This doesn't have to be like a big, this can just be a once off. And then kind of maybe like echo out for a little bit like that. Okay. Not quite sure about this phase yet. Let's I think that's better. Just keep it mellow. Okay, so all of that work, 2 minutes of work gone. That's why you got to keep ideas light and keep them flowing rather than get too stuck into one. I have a feeling that we could benefit from a nice change to this pad sound, which is currently just a drone. Sorry, this pad sound. I'm talking about this one over here. It's currently just a drone. We could actually introduce higher octaves, higher levels. Okay, so let's get that up in level a little bit. Let's find out how to, I think it's the cutoff that we're looking at here. So let's remove the phase of that. We don't need it. And we're going to turn 48 into cutoff, I think. Yeah. Okay, there we go. If you're not clear on what I just did, I MIDI mapped the cutoff of this device over here, which sounds like this. No, it doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds like this. Now we've got this highish version, highish accompaniment to the low sound, which was previously just dominating. Now, Oriental Eastern music has its roots in the pentatonic scale, like a lot of folk music, so I'm just going to stick with these kinds of, just the black notes actually, coincidentally. I've chosen E flat minor as the key for this track, which means that it's just the black notes, nice and easy. And let's play back. Keep it nice and slow. Alright, so we're writing a little bit of a pad accompaniment to the low drone sound, which has been playing up until now, and so it's got to have a little bit of an Eastern flavor because this has got that, it's got an Oriental feel, this track. I could also use the cutoff over here. You can see in the bottom left there it is being used. I could use the cutoff to create a bit more feeling. There's a lot of delay on that, so we don't want to overdo it. Okay, let's just get the feeling right. I'm going to bring this up in level just a bit, just to kind of hear it while we play. Oh, no, not that one, this one here. The pad, we can take the whole thing up. And maybe 3 dB, just to hear it better. Should be able to. Gilp, what's happening, dude? Nice to see you. Do you like Dr. Mix? Gilp says, do you like Dr. Mix? He is such a funny guy. Dude, I haven't heard of that, but I'll check it out. YouTube channel or music producer? Or both? Who's Dr. Mix? Okay, we're coming from this scene over here. Yeah, I saw you at Dash a bit earlier. That was cool. Something like that. Now we're going to change to B scene. Okay, let's bring this in. I'm just going to record it. Here we go. Let's try that again. 3 and 4 and... It's got a bit something to it. There's something wrong with this, and it is the fact that the analog is triggering even though I don't want it to. Yeah, it's that analog we don't actually need. Okay, let's try it again. Let's record it over this clip over here, and we're going to do a record over an overdub. Okay, let's try it again. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and 2 and 3 and 4. Not too musical, if that sounds a bit weird, but just not too like notesy and melodic, just almost like that, just like that. And then we maybe have another gong in there. Dong. Let's put the gong right there. Okay, bring the gong delay amount up. Okay, duplicate this. Let's bring it in the second layer a little bit later. Okay, I know what to do now. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks, Gilp. Gilp says really sick tune so far. I love it, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you. 3, 4. There should be the gong. Okay, we're going to take out this. There's the gong for the first time. Gives that Chinese feel, Asian, Oriental, Eastern feel. 3, 4. Here it is again. 4. go. Now we got something. This can actually just not be a loop. I think we must just keep it off loop. One cool trick for escaping some of the Ableton sounding music is to deactivate loop more often. Because in Ableton you tend to think in 4 and 8 and 16 bar loops, but just by having once-offs like this, watch this thing, gong, this will actually stop triggering once it's hit the end of this clip. So that triggers twice, and then we'll see this little clip will stop playing. That's one little trick you can use. I think we're actually going to need to add something else here. So this is also just a bit of a once-off. Now we're at the point in the track where it is going to be... It has to develop a little bit. I know we've been adding layers, but you do need to deviate a bit, otherwise if someone's listening to this or you know wants to use it in their game and then they play back the first 10 seconds and then skip ahead like 3 minutes and it sounds exactly the same as the first 10 seconds, there's something wrong with that. So there's some kind of story needs to be told. So I'm going to just turn that into a 12 bar loop and then deactivate loop. So that this is also a once-off. So this entire scene is actually just going to be like a sort of middle passage between where we've come from, this, and where we're going, which is what I've still got to write. It's very subtle, this piece of music. It has to be a little bit subtle, I think. The question is, do we want to scale it up? Do we want to turn it into something big or not? And I think this one must just be nice and mellow. And I'm going to trigger the next scene. There we get some action, some movement now. This is a good point at which to add some additional percussion, I think. How about we just cycle through these texture patches that I've created over here and hear if there's anything that could really work as a nice percussion patch. Let's hear it out. Let's give it a listen. I think that might work well. Let's just do a single one like that and just... Which octave? Low, medium, high. That's nice. That's quite cool. So let's try with that. We'll just record that. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully it's all in all synchronized. That's okay. That's fine if it drags like that, because then you take the decay. This is quite cool. The way suddenly it sounds gated. Gilp, tell me stories, man. What are you doing? What are you busy doing? I see your days just being touring YouTube, checking out live streams. How's that going for you? No, we don't want keyboard. We want MIDI macro. That can be this one over here, 5049. Okay, let's take it back a scene and see how that goes. 4. Bring in the texture pad here. We'll start it really slow, soft at least. where this needs to actually be like 4 times the length. And then we slowly bring up the decay, which I'm just going to manually do a drag and drop of. There we go, cool. We can actually, no, sorry, let's double this again, even there. At that point it starts to kind of, let's duplicate it, duplicate. Where did I lose my duplicate? There it is, cool. Okay, at this point it must be a little bit higher, so we're gonna do 24 bars, I think. No, just leave it there. Okay, good. This is all very subtle stuff, but the combination of subtleness and the subtle elements brings it all together, I think. Now we bring in the sweep here like this. Not too high. Not a very exciting sweep. Maybe we could bring in some strings here. I mean, I really like this, the way this feels. What we're going to do now is bring it up in life. So that stays how it is. And the pads don't get re-triggered. They're once-offs. Actually, that's not a once-off. That is a once-off. And the sweep doesn't get re-triggered on the first one, and this one gets started a bit there. So that's how that works. To the next scene. Now at this point we want to bring some, not really pluck, but more string. So I think there's a way to do this. We can look for stringed instruments and use the pitch bend wheel to create a koto, not a koto, but what do they call the thing? You know, just a typical slide, kind of Chinese violin type thing. That's the type of thing I'm looking for. Okay, let's take the reverb value down. Just kind of hear it for what it is, and we don't have too much longer on this track, so gotta keep moving. Let's keep on going. It's already doing a little bit of now I need to change the pitch bend range, which I think is going to be under, there we go. Pitch should go up to, let's make it 7, which is in a musical fifth. I do wish I could show this to you. I'm a little bit strapped for camera space here, but with my left hand I've got a sounds a bit like 1, 2, 3 and 4. Not sure this is the right sound, to be honest, but we're getting there. We're going in the right direction. This is just kind of very gentle. I'm going to search for a string patch, see what I can find in my own library. Here we are. Take a look over here. We're looking for devices. So some genuine strings would be nice, but I can't actually load those up so easily. Stringed horns, 80s FM strings, that's the one I had. Bendy string, is this actually even a thing? I like synthetic choirs, so let's try that out. Here we go. filter on this I don't need. Maybe that's better. The pitch bend range should be more like 7, not 6. Change that to 7. Don't know if I'm in the right ballpark here. It's a little bit, the detune is up a little high. I think the pitch is just a little bit out. Let's just try and get that right. Or if not, 4. It needs to just be a little bit more aggressive, I think. There is a cutoff we can try. Still resonating a little bit too much. It's the routing. Okay, I'm going to just get into the routing here. It should all go through the top filter. So this one over here. That's what I want, yeah. Let's take off some of the reverb. Supposed to be more of a texture than a feature, so let's take the tone down. It's very not like a choir all of a sudden. Let's try these guys over here, synthetic strings. That's closer to what I'm after. Now we can get the amount up, the pitch bend amount, which I found under MIDI PB. Take that up to, let's just take it up to 5. I don't think we need the full musical fifth. Something like that. Four. Something like that is what I'm going for. Let's see if I can make it work. 2, 3, 4. Okay, we've got something. Now we've got to just smooth out the pitch bend. Pad bendy string. No, pad MIDI control. Yeah. Let's take it from here. First thing we do, is there a simplify envelope? Yes, there is. Duh. That's quite nice. That sounds quite nice, actually. Good. Now we can double that, or maybe just have it as a once-off. Definitely cut off some of it. Okay. I'm bringing a oriental sound to this to match up with the earlier part of the track, which is this. And I'm using a string patch. Let's call it string. It's actually more like a pad than a string, but does the job. And that's going to go next to melody because I want it to contribute. Alright, so I'm making Ableton Live templates and Creative Commons music right here, like half the rest of the world. We all sit here making music because it's fun, we love it. If you want to support the stream, go ahead, check out the link in the description for the free stuff. You can download Ableton Live templates from my Patreon. And in the meantime, I want to just introduce how I've come to this point in this track. You see there's a slight build up in the bass there. Now we drop into this kind of next section and 4, where there's a little bit more fast moving, high pitch texture. Subtle. We're going to do 1 or 2 of those, let that roll out for a bit. I think there's one more. No. Just a breather. Ding, 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 ding. Let's add one there. So after, I think it's 9 bars, we're going to add just a little breather, and I'm going to just play it. So we'll take it from there again, and I just want to get an idea of what I'm playing. We can go. Let's get right up high. There we are. Okay, cool. And we're going 1, 2, 3, top. 2, 3, top. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the second phrase here. For a while. Something there. Let's at that point let's just take out everything except the okay, good. We're just duplicating things one at a time, so we'll see how it transitions. Here we go. Playing back. No bass. I think we must just halve this amount, so we'll duplicate and then and then remove the second one. So let's try that. 3 and top. Again. That's it, just lose that mellow vibe. Okay, great, I got this. Cool, I'm just ironing this out. I think maybe we've got to just actually bring this back in. It sounds nice, but it sounds like it just could use a little bit more. Just a little less volume, maybe just lux. And drowning space. Just trying to figure out these control parameters over here. On the right hand side, sorry, on the left hand side. Feels like I need to actually add some strings to that, some proper strings. Not bendy string, but like some authentic sounding orchestral strings. When I search for the actual sounds themselves, strings, that's nice. Synthetic strings is basically the best one we've got. Which is what we're already playing. So, how do we improve on something that we've already got? That's not what we want. Let's just take it up one octave. So right now I'm gonna try just bring this sound a bit more, make it a bit more vivid by taking it up. No, we don't need that. That sounds quite nice. Last scene. Getting there. Maybe an octave up like this. Consumer survey spam, not really for me, thank you very much. And now let's just get that over there and then there. Okay, I'm gonna launch this one again, shut up. Thank you. 2, 3, 4, up an octave. Doesn't quite sound right, does it? I've also got a bit of delay on it. Okay, this is one of those ones where you've got to just move on, so that's what I'm going to do. It's the end of today's stream. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for joining. I'm just making music and releasing it as Creative Commons stuff. I will be around tomorrow, 2 p.m. UTC, for your listening and viewing pleasure. And yeah, thanks to those of you who've been engaging recently. It's super cool to see you guys showing up, appreciate it. And you know where to find me making cyberpunk music for the forthcoming days. And looking forward to, just connecting a bit more. I'm going to play out with this track as it is at the moment. And we'll see you again tomorrow, 2 p.m. UTC. Thanks for joining in.